Hello. My name is Mr. Lee. I work at Thomas Jefferson High School in the Federal Way School District. And this is the time of year where I have students saying, hey, Mr. Lee, why did my grade go up? Why did my grade go down? What is the one assignment I can do to get to a passing grade? And unfortunately, I'm usually not able to answer that question directly because the way we grade here in the Federal Way School District, which is called standards-based grading, but we've modified it, is a little bit confusing. Now, let's not lie. It's straight up confusing, but I can't explain it. So what I want to do is, number one, I want to take you through how the grade is calculated for each of the classes. I will use my class as an example. We are at the end of the semester. There's only the final left to be tabulated, so you can get a pretty good idea of how you're doing by looking at your grades online. After that, for my students, if you don't feel like you've been graded appropriately, I do have a form that you can fill out and show that you have shown evidence of understanding in any particular standard to increase your grade. So with that said, this is how you calculate your grade in a class like mine, which is called Physics in the Universe. First of all, you need to access your grade. I will point out that even though we use Canvas a lot this year, Canvas grades are not the grades that you get in class. Canvas does not calculate standard-based grading. It just calculates point-based gradings. So that is not the grade that you will be receiving in this class. Your grade in this class you can find on Student View, and if this is a parent watching this, you can find it on Parent View. What you need to do is you need to go to Student View, and you go to where it says grades or grade book. You find this class, which would be Physics in the Universe, and then you'll get something like this. This is a grade report from one of my random students that I've made sure to hide their name so that I can show you exactly how the grade breakdown goes. Notice that here highlighted in gray and written in bold are the what's called the priority standards or reporting standards. These are the standards that are calculated to determine what your overall grade is. So you'll notice that there's 6 of them: Earth's place in the universe, energy, engineering, forces and interactions, literacy and science, WAVE and their applications. And if you look at this particular students, they got a 2.5, a 2.5, a 3, a 3, a 3, a 3, and a 3.5. And I'm sorry, I put an extra little 2 point, that wasn't one. If we add those up, 3.5, 3, 3, 3, 3, and 2.5, that comes to 18. Now there's 6 priority standards shown on here. So what you would do is you would take that total and divide it by 6, and that'll give you the average. So 18 divided by 6 is a 3, whereas a 3 corresponds to a B in our grading system. So with that said, how do we get these priority standards? Where does that 3 come from? Where does this 2.5 come from? That comes from, if we take, for example, I'm going to go back here where it says right here, literacy and science. This is literacy and science right here. There's your reporting standard. And you can see that there are standards. These standards right here are the standards that support that priority standard. So you can see right here they got a 3. If we take all of these numbers right here, 3.5, 2.5, 4, 4, 2.5, 3, and 2.5, those will add up to be about 18.5. There's 6 standards that lead up to that priority standards. So that would be 18.5 divided by 6. That would come to 3.08. And that is rounded to 3. And that's going to be the grade that's given into the priority standards. So how are these grades determined? That's the next step. So each one of these will carry at least 3 assignments. So each standard has a breakdown of 3 or more assignments. Now you see in this case, in the engineering, that was the priority standard. This is one of the standards that support it. And in this particular case, this student had 4 assignments that feed into that standard. This is where it gets a little bit strange. It's a little bit complicated as to how do we get this 3 from these numbers. The first thing is it's not an average of all of the assignments. It's only the last 3 assignments, the most recent assignments that were calculated are the ones that are put into this grade. Any assignment older than 3, it is forgotten. It only looks at the most recent 3. In this case, what it does is it takes a mode. This person got a 3, and because they didn't turn in an assignment, looks like the student didn't take a notebook test, and because they didn't take that notebook test, it comes off as missing. It was entered in as an IE, but at the end of the year, IEs have to turn into 0.5s, which means no credit. So we look at this, and what it does is it takes the mode. The mode is where you take the most numbers represented. So if this is a 3 and a 3 and a 0.5, it calculates, well, there's 2 3s here and only 1.5, so that grade should be a 3. So it takes the last 3 grades, takes the mode, that's where you get that grade. But what happens if the last 3 assignments don't have a mode? And that's what I'm going to do this next one. On this next one, for this particular standard, you can see this person had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times, 11 opportunities to show proficiency in the standards. But remember, it's only the last 3 that count for the standards. And this time it's a 4, a 2.5, and a 1. Well, this time there's not 2 numbers versus 1, so I can't take the mode. So what it does actually here is it takes the average. 4 plus 2.5 plus 1, and then divide that by 3 for those 3 assignments, and that's where we get the 2.5 for that assignment. Okay, so it's one of those 2 ways. Either it takes the mode of the last 3 or the average of the last 3. And I should point out that many assignments, you will find out that many assignments, for example, the notebook test, probably will cover multiple standards, 3 to 4. In some cases, if it's like a lab, you might have it cover 10 different standards. So it might show up multiple times. So think of it like this. You have your labs, your tests, your in-class assignments, your portfolio of work. Those feed into these blue boxes right here. Those are the standards for each of those. Okay, so we take all of the grades from all of your work, and that averages into your standards. Then you take the average of all of those standards and you put it into the reporting standard. And then you take the average of all the reporting standards and put them into your grades. So that said, when a student asks me, what's the one assignment that I can do to get my grade up? That's not an answer that it's not a question I can easily answer, because it could have been this one standard right here. One assignment might have hit this standard and this standard and this standard and this standard, and it would affect your grade different ways. So that's not something I can answer right off the top of my head. Why did my grades suddenly drop? Probably has something to do with the last 3 grades of a standard are the ones that count. And if you did poorly on the last assignment, all of a sudden, if you had a good grade in that standard, it could have been brought down. That's why we encourage you to make sure that you finish strong at the end of the year. So with my classes, how do you defend your grade? How do you go through and calculate, hey, Mr. Lee, I think you graded me wrong, and this is why. I'm going to give you guys a sheet, and if you go to Canvas, for my class. So here's my Canvas class, and this is from today. So if you scroll down, I have put right above our calendar, Defend Your Grade worksheet. And I'm also going to post this video right here when I'm done with the video. So you can watch this, you can learn how to defend your worksheet, and you're going to get a worksheet that looks something like this. This is a Google Doc. You're going to make a copy of it, and then you can send it to me. And basically what this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 reporting standards and all the standards that support those 6 standards. I've also got those written down here. The red, that's your grade overall. The blue, I'm sorry, the red is the reporting standards. The blue is the standards. And then what you would have to do is tell me what assignment and what grade did you get for each of those standards. And you would have to fill that out for each one, averaging up all the red. So you would go through, you would write the 3 assignments, what were their grades, then you take the mean of those grades, as I showed you in the video. Then you would take all the blues, average those up to put it into the red. Then you would take all the reds and average them up, and that'll be your grade. I know it's not easy. And the best I can tell you is it's not my fault. It's just the way things are done here. But this is a video hopefully to kind of clarify how that's done. I'd be happy to sit down with you at any time and as a student and help you go through this process, but you're gonna have to give me some time. It's gonna have to be something that's after school, not something that happens in the middle of class. So good luck with that, guys, and I hope you guys have a great summer. Bye now.